Connie, that's better than most. How about him? That is better than most. Better than most. The return to glory.
Got to get Mike in, right?
What?
Jordan, can you see him in the background?
Oh, I can. Yeah, that's actually a pretty dope poster.
Thanks, bro.
I got it.
Yeah. I love it too.
My hotel room, I guess. Golf clubs.
Nice. I got the sticks like literally just on the other side. So
Nice. Where are you at? You at your apartment?
yeah, I am. Yeah, my house.
Nice. What do you got going on today?
Gonna make my way down to Cincinnati in sometime in the afternoon. Got a meeting for Clover Nook Open. Finish up a few things with that, and then beforehand, I mean, after we finish this up, I got to do a few things with Whitberg. So yeah, take care of that. Get out and maybe play some G in the late afternoon. So it's Tuesday after Memorial Day, so all the private clubs in Ohio are closed.
Oh, really?
For the most part, I mean, everyone's usually open for Memorial Day. Their course is open, and so I know Springfield was, and Clover Nook was yesterday as well too. And Clover Nook's actually got an SOPGA event going on, so I know that they would be closed, but they got an event like what would be like a Monday tournament, but except it's a Tuesday tournament. Yeah, I know SEC is closed today too, so it's like kind of like if your club's closed on Mondays or holidays, usually they leave it open that day if it falls on that day that it's closed, and the day after is kind of like the closed day for the golf club. So, anyways, weird facts about private clubs and golf courses that operate on 6 days a week, or sometimes 5. I know some courses I know not too many like are open 5 days a week. Those are like the uber private ones usually though.
Nice.
Anywho, what's your day like today, Mikey?
I got a practice run today. I'm in Stockton, California, which isn't the most exciting place in the world, but 6:30 where I'm at right now. So I'm just kind of waking up, trying to get my shit together. We kind of talked about that before we were recording. What's your like kind of normal like routine to wake up? Whether it's like to go out and practice and also play in a tournament.
Well, before I do anything, before I leave where I am, I need an hour usually. If I have all my set and setting correctly, um, like having any sort of day like where I go practice, like I need an hour to wake up. That's just kind of what I've learned about myself over the years, especially kind of like doing all like the self-help reading in the last 5-6 years. It's one thing I really developed was just making sure I gave myself enough time to wake up in the morning. And then like, obviously like you want to get enough sleep beforehand, but dude, like I woke up, um, I was up for about an hour and a half this morning and went back to sleep and woke up and I felt groggy too, even though I felt like I had an ample amount of sleep for the evening. But yeah, I mean, there's ways to kind of wake yourself up for sure. And I know like you were a little slow getting up out of bed. So, I mean, I try to get coffee in my system if I'm really tired. some food in me as well. If I'm really really tired and I got to get going, or I got a day ahead of me, I'll jump in the shower as well too, and just kind of get some hot water on my back and all over me, and then um, end it with a cold shot, like a cold plunge, or like 30 seconds to a minute of cold water, as cold as you can get it, and take it. But yeah, that's kind of like some things I do to wake up in the morning. But one thing I do for sure is like I try to give myself enough time. But if not, like those are some tactics, like the shower. If you got like 5 to 10 minutes, um, coffee. If you got to wake up and go, Celsius as well too.
I try. I'm kind of the same way, man. I just need time to like get up and um, stretch. Really make sure not everything's like cloudy. I mean, I got in pretty late last night, so I got in around like 12:30. Got to bed at like 1, and then kind of took me a second to get up because I'm only running about 5 hours of sleep. So, but I usually like try to get up and stretch. It's been taking me. I've had like really bad back stiffness lately, and it takes me a while to get loose. So I'm kind of working on that. I'm rolling out a lot, stretching more. But like even like when I wake up, like stretches that were, fairly easy like a year ago or 2 years ago are, a little bit painful now. I've kind of just neglected all that side of stuff, and I need to get better at stretching more and be like when I get to the course, I'm ready to warm up instead of getting to the course like thinking like, man, I need to get to the locker room and get a good half hour, 40-minute stretch in, because it's tough when you're trying to get loose just by swinging. But
Yeah, that's why PGA Tour players get there 2 hours early and then go to the fitness trailer and get stretched out or do physio or do some sort of like activation exercises or opening. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. So I'm kind of. I was talking to a buddy that like there are things I need to prioritize in, not specifically in my golf game, but like and I guess in my like more fitness regimen. When it comes to like stretching and all that. So yeah, I need to do more of that stuff. But once I'm up and going, I'm good. But just it's tough when you wake up like really sore and groggy.
yeah. No, I feel you. Um, that's just kind of a part of getting stiff and tight and groggy. Just a
It's part of the
life, I guess.
process.
Asian part of the process. We all gotta go towards it. So
It's weird because like I've had a bunch of people like say like, oh, like I'm getting old. It's tough for me to warm up, or it takes me longer. But I feel like my whole life it's kind of been tough for me. Like I've never been like, all right, I'm ready to go. Like even I remember like in high school, after sitting down in class all day and then going out to play 9 holes like in a GCL match. Those first like 3 holes, I'm like, this sucks. Like we were never able to hit balls. And then when we did, I felt like that's when I like put my best, because like there's nothing, because we're sitting down for 8 hours and then we have to tee off number one at Kenwood. Like I don't know. Like that's
dude, that's exactly what came to mind when I thought of that too. Like
yeah.
all of us putting on the putting green before we go tee off, and then just like
No
30 to
stretching.
40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes fresh out of class or whatever. Maybe an
Yeah.
hour fresh out, but
I mean,
still.
honestly, the only team that would warm up was Saint X, and they'd be like doing fucking jumping jacks and shit, and be like, what the hell are they doing over there?
You remember what we called them, right?
Remind me.
Oh, I can't.
God, I'm trying to think of what it was.
Something with a round object.
A round object.
Yeah. And then
I don't remember, but you should text it to me. But yeah, I mean, I guess they had like the best idea. But
I mean, it was successful, right?
not when I was there.
Yeah, I mean, you guys did take it a couple times.
Like by 43 shots my junior year and 17 my senior.
I remember that. And then I think they won maybe before you guys came on
It
because we
doesn't
were
matter.
trying. We were close. We were trying, but yeah.
Oh, I keep forgetting
Anyways,
you're
we know you had a
a
good
year
golf team.
ahead.
We know you had a good golf team. Mueller was really good at golf back in the day. They still got a pretty decent program. How are they these days, though?
I don't know. I haven't. I don't think I've checked in since. I think they won state like a couple years after I left, but I don't keep up with all that shit, dude. Do you keep up with their high school stuff?
Mm. I know the coach. He was the old assistant pro at Clovernook, so whenever I run into him, I'll see and ask how he's doing. I'll see a couple like this kid just graduated from LaSalle. Um, he plays at Clovernook, and like I'll ask him how the season's going. But for the most part, I'll follow up when I can when I'm around. But there have been times where um, it was a little bleak as the like what I knew about like the results for sure. Like I'd always ask how they did like sectionals, districts, try to follow up that and see where they finished. I don't know if they've been in the
Man,
states in a while, but yeah,
high school golf was wild, man.
yeah, no kidding.
Did you ever skip school to play golf?
Um, like just to play like casual golf.
Just whatever.
Oh yeah. Like I would. I recall a few times actually. Now that you say, like I took 7 classes my senior year, and so we had block scheduling at LaSalle. So it would be
Same.
A day, B day.
Yeah.
So one day I'd have 3 classes, the other day I'd have four, and like that fourth class that day was religion. Coach Cook, God rest his soul, um, he was an awesome dude, funny, like always got us laughing and shit. He was just like an old geezer who didn't give a what. So um, yeah, I would. Me and Ben Schneider were in that class, and so we'd just play the golf cart all the time in the fall, whether or not we had a match or not. Like we'd play the cart just because like that would get us out of class. And I think that class was maybe like 1 or 12:50, and if like we got done with our third class, we'd be out of there by like 12:15 because that's when our lunch was, or like the last lunch start was. So like that would get us out of class so much earlier as well too. And or if we tell like Coach Cook like, hey, like coach, like we can only be there for 15, 20, 30 minutes, like he'd be like, all right, yeah, go golf. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can recall maybe a couple times where I missed a full day. One of those times maybe I played golf, but yeah, there weren't too many where I was like missing a full day of class, but definitely like one of the last classes for sure.
Yeah, I skipped my senior year. I would write myself a note basically every other day because we had A and B like block schedule too, and my B days I had a study hall B3 so I could leave. I'd leave at like 12 o'clock every day, and then like the A days I think I had like Latin class at like A4, and I would just write a note, and like it was to the point where the teacher was like, "Oh, you have to leave again." It's like, "Yep," and then we like online it would show us like our attendance, and I think I missed like an equivalent of like 40 days of school because I
In
would
one year
in
or
one
like
year, my senior year, and yeah, so when everyone else was skipping school to go drink or smoke weed, I was skipping school to go play golf.
that's a better alternative, anyways.
I mean, hey, it got me to
It's
where I am
a
today.
more addicting drug, but
I mean, we would just
don't
be
tell
like
anyone.
we had like laptops in high school, and we'd like I'd be on like 4 different email chains, and you know, I just like throw into the golf one, be like, yo, anyone want to get out of class early and go play like Heritage or Western Hills or whoever was a member somewhere, Oasis.
Yeah.
So
Anyone want to play? What are we
yeah,
playing today?
exactly. It's like, who's getting out early today? Because I mean, obviously I was every day, but yeah, man, I played a lot of golf in high school, and like if it was over 40 degrees, I was on the golf course.
Word.
Which golf courses were not as crowded back in the day. Because I think
You know
about how
where
much
golf courses aren't crowded, especially in the wintertime?
Ohio, yeah,
Ohio.
yeah. I did live in Florida and Los Angeles. You're right.
Off topic, but just question because kind of segued into it. Like, where do you think a good spot to practice would be? If like, because we talked about like, would you rather practice when it's super hot or super cold a few months ago? Like, where would you think a good location is? Like, are you thinking like North Carolina, South Carolina, like Atlanta? Because like that's kind of cold in the winter. It gets maybe a dusting or two of snow, but not too much, but enough to maybe like give you a day or two of rest inside. Talk to me. Talk to me, Goose.
So you're talking just like in general, like where would I want to practice every day, or what?
Like if you like, what's a good location? You'd say. I mean, you can be biased and say like where you are because it's warm and sunny every day,
I will
except
s- I will say this. Um, Not North Carolina or South Carolina, not Atlanta, not Florida.
because it
You know
gets
what?
too hot.
It's not the heat, it's the humidity. And there's something about not going through 7 gloves in a week. 'Cause my hands sweat a lot when I practice, and so I mean, if you know me, I have 3 gloves in my bag at all times, even in LA when it's dry. But like in Florida, if it's not January or February, like I have to use a rain glove to practice. That's just personal preference for me. I mean, as long as it's dry and LA doesn't get too hot. It does get kind of cold in the winter, but it gets down to like 50, so it's not bad. You just gotta throw a hoodie and pants on, and you know, occasionally wear a beanie, but like that's bearable. Especially like me growing up in Ohio, so it's you know it's not too bad. Um, but like that's kind of like one of the main reasons why I enjoy playing golf out west. Like I think Arizona's way too hot. Like Phoenix is so hot. I spent 2 weeks there last year, and by day 3, I'm like, dude, get me out of here. It is every time I walk out, you take a deep breath and like you have to like drink like a whole bottle of water. It just feels like you walk out into. I feel like we've talked about this before, but you just walk out into an oven. And
Yeah.
so obviously, like when people say like, oh, it's a dry heat, like that's complete bullshit. It's still fucking. It feels like your skin is burning off your body when it's 100 degrees there. But Florida, like you walk outside in, we'll say May, like May 1st, and you're like, all right, I guess I'm sweating the rest of the day. So I mean, you kind of have to like choose your battles. But LA has like the most consistent weather. But dude, like we talked about like the most golf courses per state, but there are also sometimes I think like, man, there's just not enough like golf out here. And I was talking to the Asher Tour uh, director of golf, whatever tournament director, and he doesn't have a tournament in June or July. There's not one. Asher Tour is the old Golden State Tour. Golden State and the Golden State Tour and Outlaw Tour combined. Now they're the Asher Tour, but they don't have an event in June or July. And he was saying how like they just can't get any golf courses, to give them those 3 day events because golf courses now don't need special events anymore because they can fill up their tee sheet every day, and that kind of sucks. But I know we're just talking about purely practice, but I'm kind of going off in a tangent about professionally how I'm looking at it. But from a climate standpoint, to just practice, LA is perfect. San Diego is perfect. But Florida is pretty good, but it does get too hot. What are you thinking? What are your ideal spots?
I might be a little biased like you.
Yeah, you're going North Carolina, I know.
I think North Carolina.
It doesn't get too humid there?
It does, but I mean, you get seasons. So you get summer, it's
one
hot.
of those guys.
It's hot, and then winter it's cold, but it's mild. It's not like it is up here, where like you're off the golf course for up to a month plus even. Springtime and fall is amazing. I mean, you got
But wouldn't you rather just have like the best 2 seasons? I feel like LA, it's either spring or summer. Wouldn't you rather have that than having to go through fall and winter? Because fall, everything's kind of dying, and then winter, everything is dead and everything's cold as shit.
yeah. When I was in Florida, I understand what you're saying because like Florida, I spent a little bit of time there in the summer, but I think there was only like that one summer I spent in Jupiter with you and Cap. Um, but
It's
that
too
was
hot.
it. Like,
It's too
yeah,
hot.
that, like I actually maybe one other summer I was there, the summer after. So for the most part, I spent like 8 months, 9 months out of the year down there. So I got a good idea as to like what it was like. And in Naples, it was cool. Like it was amazing, beautiful. I mean, I could keep getting better with my words to describe it, but um, it just got a little redundant to me as well too. In all honesty, um, I like elements as well. So if I can get rain and practice in the rain and get everything, like that's cool with me too. And like you get that really anywhere, especially like Florida in the summertime. It's bound to rain or hurricane and at some point. So um, the only thing you really don't get in Florida is the cold. I mean, you'll get plenty of wind, but yeah, I mean, just having the elements is one thing I think that helps me with my adaptability to go to golfing, to going and taking my golf game elsewhere. Um, yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to. I'm speaking off experience too because I've been in basically 3 locations for training and practicing my golf: um, Ohio, North Carolina, and
Were you in
Florida.
Orlando at all?
Um, what's up?
Were you in Orlando? You lived in Orlando, didn't you?
For one winter, I did. Yeah, that was the first winter I was out of school. Yeah, me and
I
David
know.
Teppi.
Oh yeah, that's right. Wow. Um, yeah, I know a lot of guys go down there. I mean, Dorn and Emerson were down there, and yeah, and I recalled you were there as well, and Jared Howard was there too. I think they all lived together, but I don't know what it is, but I don't think I'd ever want to live in Orlando. What was your favorite spot besides North Carolina?
Naples.
Really?
Yeah,
Why's
you had a
that?
lot of stuff to do. I mean, you could paddleboard, you could go to the beach, you could
Yeah.
just do like other stuff outside the golf course. Um, it was like kind of popping. It wasn't as busy as Jupiter, or at least like it seemed to be a little bit more um, organized. You know how like kind of how like the East Coast, like West Palm, Jupiter, down to like Fort Lauderdale can get really like congested and hectic. And, I mean, I don't even need to say anything about Miami. So,
I mean, I live in LA, dude. Come on.
word, yeah, fair. Um, but yeah, I mean, I that and Cincy's like the busiest traffic I've been in, so I've been fortunate to not deal with traffic. I mean, Pinehurst was you could get anywhere 15 minutes or less in the city, town, village, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I mean, traffic's traffic everywhere. We've already talked about this, but when I was in Florida for that like month and a half, anytime I talked to anyone I told about LA, like if I said anything about LA, people were like, "Oh, I just can't handle the traffic." And then I'd get in my car at 5 o'clock, and I'd be, what would be a 15-minute drive because everything in Jupiter's 15 minutes away. It was now like 30 or 40 minutes,
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, well, traffic's the same everywhere. I mean, obviously, like it gets crazy in LA at times, but it's because a lot of people live there, and I mean, I have to drive a decent amount to go practice every day, and sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I lived closer, but other times I'm like, I don't know, it's kind of worth it because I come back and I'm basically like I'm right by the water, even though I don't go like to the beach at all, but there's just something about like being in that atmosphere that I just love. And also now Jupiter is the same price as LA, like if not more expensive. Golf is way more expensive in Florida than it is in LA because I mean probably 15% of the reason I'm still in LA is because like I'm paying basically nothing to practice, and in Florida, like we said before, like Iron Horse is 100 grand to join when it was like 7,000 for the year when I first moved there. Insane.
yeah, yeah. I've had talks about that recently um, with friends, just like chatting it up. Uh, like basically all the Californians are moving to Texas or Montana or trying to go there or elsewhere, and then all the New Yorkers are making their way down to Florida. So
Well, the most New York thing you can do is move to Florida. So
true. You remember like when we were down there in the summer and there wasn't really anybody there? It was before like everything popped off.
yeah, dude, it was the
And we
best.
could, like you said, we could just like fly from place to place.
Like the dude. First of all, when I lived in like West Palm, I lived right on the beach. I was paying $800 a month, all utilities included. The golf course I would go to every day, I paid 7,000 for the year, no cart fees. I mean, I had like $100 minimum for the restaurant a month, but I was there every day, so that was easy to do. Um, and on top of that, there was also like 15 to 20 pros practicing at the golf course. So like there was a game every day at 1 o'clock. Uh, and there was no tee times. Like you could just go. And obviously there were some busy days like Saturday morning and Sunday mornings as well. But you could play 36 holes a day and not wait on a single shot. But if you,
Yeah, I
I
remember
don't
we would go out and play and there wasn't anybody there really.
never. And it was the best. Like I could go out there and hit like 15 tee shots on one hole and no one would be behind me. But now it's like I mean, yeah, you just can't. It's tough to find a spot. Like I know it's Memorial Day weekend, but I went out to play my buddy's course that I was actually a member at when I first moved out here, and it was same kind of thing. I mean, the facilities aren't great. They have one putting green, which is also chipping green, and then a range that only goes out to like 160 yards. But the golf course is relatively open. Like there's not many members, But we went out on Saturday, Saturday morning, and we went off at like 11. And front nine we flew. Then right when we hit the back nine, like we waited on every shot. We basically played 12 holes, and we're like, all right, screw this. Let's just go practice for an hour and get out of here. But yeah, I mean, I know it's a holiday weekend, but it really wasn't ever like that before, especially in Jupiter, dude. Like we could go out anywhere, and I felt like, I don't know, like we went out to like those little public courses, like at Atlantis and stuff, and played in like 3.5 hours. Now there's not only is that golf course not cheap anymore, it's also so crowded, and it's like $100 to play. So I know we do a lot of bitching about pace of play and how many people play golf now on this, but it's when you're trying to do what we're trying to do, it's tough, man.
Yeah.
Like I want to be able to play more. You know what I mean?
Slow play sucks. Everyone agrees.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one thing you said a few minutes before you started talking about it, just having like a cool setup either at your golf course or like where you go back to relax or in your office or workplace or whatever. I think that's one thing that can kind of set you up for like good vibes and stuff out there. Um, like coming back to something that you think is like cool, like your domain, like whether it's your house or like you're at a sick golf course, Um, and also, hats off to you for always eating at your club and using that minimum. I think that I don't do this enough too, and definitely want to do it more. But definitely bring back like why don't you eat at your golf course? Like why leave and come back, or like why leave after a tournament and go get food and come back and practice when you can cut half your time out and just go inside and eat, I mean, obviously it's got to be like decent food,
Yeah.
but for the most
Or
part,
if it's like too expensive.
yeah, for sure.
I will say this though, dude. When I was in Reno, this is kind of wild, but when I was in Reno, I played this dude who ate at the golf course because we had like a 2:40 tee time, and ate at the golf course, and he was like, "Dude, worst experience I've ever had." He goes, "I was ordering food from the guy, like the bartender or whatever in the restaurant, and he was being like a huge asshole." And he like, he got his food, and then I just went up to him and be like, "Yo, can I get a side of ranch?" And the guy like was like kind of being a dick again. I'm explaining this terrible, but anyway, the guy ends up going to get the ranch and gave it to him smiling and said, "You enjoy this." And so he brought the ranch back to his table and looked inside of it, and he spit in the ranch. Like the guy working at the golf course. And so it was like a huge thing, and the guy obviously got fired, but
What?
yeah,
You could tell it was spit.
he was like, dude, it was weird. Like his buddy was like messing with it, and he like, I mean, it's gross, so gross, but like, dipped a fry in it, and it was like, it looked like spit. And so, yeah. Anyway, the guy ended up getting fired,
Dude,
yeah. And
no kidding. He must have like done it before, or like
had to have, but like we were the only people on the golf course. Like the tournament was like the only thing going on there, obviously. And I mean, I understand people have bad days. I mean, I work in the restaurant industry, and I've had bad days, but there's no excuse for that shit, obviously.
not that bad.
Not that bad. I mean, you're taught to once you get to your job, you're taught to just leave everything that's going on that you're dealing with at the door and go and being professional, but not many people know how to do that. So, yeah, wild. And yeah. So anyway, that was just a story from last week. Crazy. Did I tell you what happened at the SoCal Open this year about the kid in my group?
I think so, but remind me.
The kid who got in a fight on the driving range?
Vaguely. Yeah. Recant it, please.
I mean, so SoCal Open, so there's like a million people playing, like over 250 because there's two courses. And this kid I was playing with is like 23, 22, 23. Little, like not big guy, but whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, the range would get like really packed, and sometimes you have to wait for a spot. One of those. I mean, a ton of people are playing, so obviously it's going to happen. And like like when there's room, like kind of at the ends of spots sometimes. But this one dude just like didn't want to wait. Went up to the guy I was playing with spot, like raked one of the pyramids at this club, and just like balls everywhere. Like bitch up a storm, like I'm not fucking waiting, shit like that. And so the kid turns around and just like looks at him like, what the hell was that? Because he just like went in his spot and just destroyed the pyramid of golf balls that he had in front of him.
Yeah.
And so the guy like got in his face, it's like slapped his phone out of the guy I was playing with his hands. And so obviously the guy I was playing with like, it's like I'm not gonna not do anything, and like shoved him. And the other guy shoved him. And then all of a sudden, like, everyone's looking at him. And so the guy who, like, started the fight, the guy who was, like, angry, like, picked his bag up and left. And then, obviously, for the next, like, 30 minutes, everyone was talking about, like, what the hell was going on. And, like, the cops were involved. And they were, like, asking, like, at the end, they're asking me about the kid who, like, got in a fight. I'm like, dude, this kid's like, he's young, he's so like good dude, wouldn't start a fight, but apparently that guy's like banned from all like SoCal PGA events. And I don't know, man, golfers are fucking weird.
Like in all honesty, I feel like I may have said this before, and I heard this from a wise friend of mine too, who's a pretty respected golfer in his day, a little bit older now, but he lives down in Naples for the most part, but he was hosting me at his club one day. One of the first few times I played with him and started playing a lot of golf with him. He's like, David, you can tell a lot about a person on a golf course. That's why I like playing and like getting to know people and like taking them out for business over the years and like playing games with them, because like you see like a person reveals like their true character or like what's going on in their life as well too. So that's one thing that golf is a good character revealer, I mean, maybe good,
Yeah,
maybe bad.
100%. Especially
it doesn't mean anything like good or bad. Like if you do something, like I'm just saying, like, hey, just objectively, hey, it definitely reveals what's going on in someone's head, their life, how they handle things for sure.
We kind of had a conversation about that at Clover Nook. Just like talking about our play and what the hell's going on in our lives, but yeah, 100%. And plus, it's like you're with someone for 4 hours, and if they're playing bad and the reactions are more than what they should be, they're probably going through something a little bit more than just playing bad golf. But I don't know. I don't really get mad that much on the golf course, but man, inside I'm on fire. But also, one more story about that tournament. So that was the second day that little fight thing happened. The first day, tee time's at 7:20. I get there 10 minutes before because it's what you're supposed to do. We were all assigned golf carts. the clubhouse is like not close, so obviously have to drive. And so I was assigned my own golf cart. Thank God. I'm like, nice. I get to drive by myself. You never know who you're playing with in state opens. So this one kid comes up to the starters table and goes, "Hey, like, I'm 720 as well. Do you mind if I take your cart and go get my golf bag and my caddy?" I was like, yeah, that's cool. Whatever. And so all of a sudden, 719. No sign of this guy. Don't have my golf clubs. I'm looking at the starter. I'm like, yo, like, am I going to get stroked if this guy's late? Because I don't have my stuff, and he took my stuff. Like, you saw it. Like, I don't know what the rule is there. I mean, obviously, that's probably on me. And so, like, it's 7:19, because you know those, like, clocks they have up there. 7:19 in, like, 20 seconds. And
You're
I'm
sweating.
like, I'm just confused. I'm like, where the fuck did this kid go? And so he comes back with his golf bag, my golf bag, obviously, and no caddy. And he goes, again, it's. I mean, at this point, it's 7:20. He looks at the starter and goes, "Hey, do I have enough time to go buy golf balls?" And the starter's like, "No, like, you guys are teeing off now." And so then he asks us to borrow golf balls. Again, his caddy's not there either. And but then he also asked me to hop on the other guy's cart because his caddy is handicapped. And in my head, I'm like, why do you have a handicapped, like, someone who can't walk? Why do you have him as your caddy? And then I'm thinking, like, oh, it's probably his dad, whatever, or his mom, you know, that just want to ride.
Yeah.
So again, I was like, fine, I'll go over here. But I didn't let him a golf ball because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, what a, you know, not the way you want to start your morning, especially the first round of the tournament.
7:20 in the morning.
Dude, I know. And so the other kid was nice enough to give him a golf ball, and he tees off and hits it right into the shit, like into a hazard of, like, really tall grass. And so in my head, I'm like, oh, this kid's already DQ'd. Like, is this guy going to give him another golf ball? And so he gave him another golf ball, hits it in the fairway. Anyway, we drive up, we're looking for his ball in, like, this tall grass, and he comes out with like 10 golf balls, all different kinds, all different colors, because the one ball rule is no longer a thing. And anyway, like, not only that, so we did that. His caddy showed up on, like, the fourth hole, not handicapped, running and walking everywhere. So he basically just wanted to get my golf cart, and which is annoying, but, like, come on. Just ask, like, yo, I got a caddy, whatever. Next day, the same guy on the second hole goes, hey, like, I lost my glove. Do you have an extra? Because I have 3 in my bag. And all I'm thinking is, like, I have a whole process about like, I never use the same glove twice in a row. Like, I go up and down the line, whatever. The golfers do weird shit, dude. That's one of the weirdest things I do.
That's one of your stations, huh?
It's just like, my hands sweat a lot. So, like, if the golf club's wet, I'm not going to use it. And then, like, when it's hot, dries out, whatever. And I go, I'm going to be honest, man. Like, I can't give you an extra, my extra glove. Like, this is the second day. I go, this is the second day in a row you come up unprepared. You came out here unprepared. Like, that's not on me. I'm not going to, you know, I'm giving this kid a fucking lecture on the second hole of this tournament. And
yeah,
he goes, oh, okay, like, I get it. And then he played, like, the rest of the day without a glove. Like, what are we doing, dude? Come on. And then he was asking me a bunch of questions about, like, playing professionally, because I've been playing for a while. And all in my head was, like, number one, come prepared.
yeah.
Like, that's rule number one. Like, have your shit. Don't show up with no golf clubs, no golf balls, no golf gloves. Like, what are we doing? Anyway, that's and then I also played with him I got paired with him last week at Reno, of course, but it's funny how that works. Yes.
I
Rule
wrote
number
it
one:
down.
come
Rule
prepared.
number one: come
Put
prepared.
that on your bathroom mirror. But yeah, so anyway, you never know who you're getting paired with or what the hell is going to happen in that group. Um, it's really nice when you have guys that are cool. Honestly, it's the best playing partner are the ones that you barely notice, and then obviously like when guys are cool and you can talk to them, that's nice. But if you just stay out of each other's way, like we don't need to have a conversation, you know. Like obviously we can if we're waiting around or do those same like 5 questions like where you from, where you playing next, uh, are you doing Q school, like shit like that. Like those are the conversations, or the basic conversations you have. Um, yeah. So I don't know how you feel about all that, but I feel like the best playing partners are the ones that just kind of stay out of your way.
Yeah, just kind of respect each other's just kind of respect each other's distance and um, kind of just not really butt into conversations or ask 21 questions, something like that. Just be cordial, respectful. If you guys so happen to jive and vibe, then so be it.
100%. And that
Yeah,
happens. Like the last guy I played with in Reno, not the one I played with in SoCal, but the other kid. Like afterwards, he kind of lives like closer, and I'm like, yo, like we should play when you're in town, blah blah blah. Like if they're cool, that's great. And we didn't talk that much at all. Like just like when we were waiting around, and then
right.
again, I know we have a podcast and I talk a lot on here, but other than this, dude, I don't talk that much, so it's a little different. But so yeah. Anyway, this is waking me up. I'm getting all riled up now, thinking about, even though my eyes don't say it, but yeah.
Well, we're coming up on an hour, so look at that.
Yep, just like that, man. Just had to rant a little bit. But yeah, we can get out of here.
Yeah, wrap it up. Get ready for your practice round in your golf in your G tournament. Get prepared and go out there and whoop them, homie.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna start stretching here. It's gonna take me about 40 minutes to get loose because that nice 6.5 hour car ride I was in yesterday. But yeah. Follow at Mike Wolf Golf, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, at Traveling Athlete Pod, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. If you want a t-shirt, hit me up. I'll just give one to you at this point. I don't really care if you rate review, but it'd be nice. Yeah.
I've seen friends wearing them, by the way.
Yeah.
So
I just
yeah.
need to start like putting them in my car. Also, my car is in the shop and I have a rental car. I had to rent a car to drive up here, but I just need to start like, that big box you sent me that I thought was my golf clubs last year. I need to put that in my car and just like hand them out. Like it's like, hey, what size are you? Just like whatever. But
mechanize it and turn into like one of those air guns you see.
Get a t-shirt and just like start shooting at people in the driving range.
Hey.
Yeah, just a shirt that says, "What are we doing?" Anyway, if you want a t-shirt, it's on our Instagram.
It's on us. Hit us up.
Yeah, and it's on us too. So
follow David Wederick, Dreamcatcher Golf Co., Clevernook Open. Support our shit, and we will support you.
Also, last thing I'll say about like social media. For what I do on social media and what we're doing, a simple like goes a long way. Like any kind of engagement goes a long way. So if you're scrolling through anything, you see a Clovernook Open post or I'm posting some motivational bullshit, just throw a like on it, man. It means more than you know. Same with like liking and subscribing to this podcast. So if you want to like if you could do anything to help us out, that helps a lot. So helps more than you know. But anyway, just wanted to say that because It actually does. But anyway, we'll be back next week. If you want us to talk about anything specific, I mean, I'm sure I'll have more stories after this week about tournaments, and I have a bunch left in the chamber. So yeah, like, subscribe, and Dave, anything else?
I think we should have a motivational quote to finish today. On topic, come prepared. Talk is cheap. Execution is everything. Maybe that can be our thing moving forward for the next few episodes. And on.
All right, I have a bunch saved from Instagram, so I'm ready.
Love it. Don't tell me there's. Oh, never mind. I'll save this one for only one for the week. Talk is cheap. Execution is everything. Thanks, folks. Appreciate y'all.
All right, peace.
Oh, shit. We gotta do it again, dude. Left the lens cap out.